So, of course, you got Frank Warren and Daniel Dubois and Don Charles and George Warren and Dev Sani and everybody on that side of the street claiming that there was some horrendous injustice that's taken place here. Daniel Dubois should be the champion and the punch was perfectly legal. Frank Warren is making out as though punches on the waistband or just below the waistband are always counted as legal punches when they are absolutely not. Okay? Frank Warren trying to make out that they are is being tremendously disingenuous. So let me explain some things about low blows. When the two fighters come to the center of the ring before the opening bell, like you see here, if the referee notices that one of the fighters' trunks are a little high, he will often mark a line, an invisible line with his hand and say, punches above this point are legal, punches below this point are illegal. Now, the interesting thing is, Daniel Dubois' shorts, as you can see, are actually higher than Usyk's. Look at the distance between Daniel Dubois' pectoral muscle there and the top of the shorts. It's a very short distance, whereas with Usyk, it's a much longer distance, okay? So Dubois' shorts were actually higher. So if there was anyone who the referee would have looked at and said, okay, the shorts are high, anything above this or anything on the belt line is okay, it would have been Dubois. But he didn't say that in the ring. Did he say it in the dressing room? Because sometimes the referees will do that. They'll tell the fighter in the dressing room, okay, your shorts are a little high, so anything on the waistband is okay. But if the shorts are not particularly high, the referee will usually say anything the waistband below is not okay. Now, Usyk's shorts are not particularly high. Where's his belly button? Maybe just slightly underneath, you would imagine, his waistband. The punch that connected from Daniel Dubois was at the lower end of Usyk's waistband, and it was just under the waistband. Part of the glove was slightly under the waistband. So if you really slow it down and look at that punch, it was below the belly button. Frank Warren's trying to make out as though it wasn't. No, it probably was below the belly button, in which case, unless the referee has told you specifically that all punches on the waistband are okay, you don't actually have a leg to stand on. So unless Frank Warren has got evidence that the referee said waistband punches are fine, then this appeal is going to go nowhere, okay? And the people out there saying that they think the punch was fine and therefore Dubois was robbed, you are just playing the role of referee. It's at the referee's discretion to decide whether it's okay or not. So in your opinion, if you were a referee, you would have let it go. Okay, that's fair enough. But it's also fair enough for other people to say, if I was a referee, I wouldn't have let that go. I wouldn't have said that that was a legitimate punch. You see it? So that's where I stand. If you think it was okay, I'm like, all right, but don't act like it's definitively a legal punch, because unless the referee has said it before the fight, then it's not. That's the reality of it, okay? So that's the end of the low blow saga. As I said in the post-fight video, Alexander Usyk, it would appear, is vulnerable to the body. And I'll get on to, obviously, the Tyson Fury fanboys coming out the woodwork saying, see, I told you Fury could beat him all along. Yeah, like Fury hasn't been dropped a bunch of times in his career. Like he didn't go down against Nevin Pajkic. Like he didn't go down against Steve Cunningham. Like he didn't actually lose to John McDermott in the first fight. I mean, people talking about, oh, this should have been a victory for Daniel Dubois. Usyk should have a loss on his record. Well, shouldn't Tyson Fury have a loss on his record for the John McDermott fight? Shouldn't Tyson Fury also have a loss on his record for the Otto Wallin fight? Because if that had been any other fighter, if that had been two fighters of a similar stature in terms of commercial value between Otto Wallin and Tyson Fury, that fight would have been stopped and Otto Wallin would have been awarded a win on a TKO. Because Fury's cut was terrible. Absolutely terrible. But they allowed it to go on. Why? Because they didn't want to have a loss on Tyson Fury's record. That was a political decision. And that punch wasn't caused by a clash of heads. It was caused, that cut wasn't caused by a clash of heads. It was caused by punches. That's a TKO. So, let's not act like Fury's never got the rub of the green when it comes to decisions and stuff like that. He has. With John McDermott and certainly with Otto Wallin. And of course, against Steve Cunningham, he held and hit for the knockout blow, right? He grabbed Steve Cunningham's head so he couldn't move and then hit him with a right hook. That's illegal. So if you want to go back and forth about what's illegal, well, we can do that all day long. But I'll cover all that in a separate video. But in this video, just to underline that if Frank Warren doesn't have evidence that the referee told him that belt line punches were legal before the fight, then this is going nowhere, okay? And the most concerning thing with regards to what Frank Warren said in the post-fight interview is he was asked if this appeal is not successful and, Daniel Dubois doesn't get a rematch of Usyk, do we get Usyk-Tyson Fury undisputed fight next? And Frank Warren said, there's lots of fights that could happen next. No, Frank, that's not the answer we want. We want to hear you say, yes, that's the fight that's going to happen next. But Frank Warren didn't say that. Oh, there's lots of fights that can happen next. It's my view that right from the very start, Frank Warren's plan was to have Daniel Dubois fight Usyk first, and then the winner of Joyce Zhang fight Usyk after that, before letting Usyk anywhere near Tyson Fury. Because the idea is, from a businessman, from a promoter's perspective, why am I sacrificing my king when I got a bunch of pawns I can sacrifice first? Because if one of those pawns manages to beat Usyk, then I can have an in-house undisputed fight. And at the very least, even if they don't beat him, maybe they put some damage on him. Maybe they allow Fury to see certain weaknesses so that he's better prepared when he steps in with Usyk eventually. That's the thinking of a promoter. And that's what I think Frank Warren's been doing right from the very beginning. They had no intention of fighting Usyk either last year in 2022 when it could have happened early, but Fury decided, I need a tune-up fight, and he scuppered the negotiations deliberately to get out of it. Or early this year, where it could have happened in Saudi Arabia, where Fury was asking for ridiculous amounts from the Saudis, which they just weren't willing to pay. He could have asked for a similar amount to what Usyk was being paid and was happy to accept. But of course, Tyson Fury didn't want the fight. Sugar Hill wasn't in the UK to train Tyson Fury. He admitted that. I mean, come on. So it's been their plan all along to avoid Usyk, to put it on the back burner. Usyk has got 3 belts. Fury's only got 1. Usyk has got 3 mandatories pending. Fury's got no mandatories pending. So again, these are veteran boxing people. They know how to play the game. Frank Warren knows how to play the game, and that's what he's doing. He's playing the game. Let Usyk go out there and fight all these mandatories and take damage. And I've got 2 of those mandatories that are fighting Usyk. This is how Frank Warren's thinking. There's no need to put Fury in with him right now. That wouldn't be wise, right? This is what they're thinking. So, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast, where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.